What's up, guys? GentleTornado here, the Hyped Happy Hour, episode 2 with my man, Dan, the Lost Boy. We are coming in for the second episode, feeling hot, feeling good, feeling just incredible. Hyped is a company that I created. Hype stands for happiness, inspiration, positivity, enthusiasm, and dreams. The logo has, if you look down here, has a heartbeat in the middle of it because we don't ever know how many heartbeats we have. So if we live in the moment, and I truly believe that if you live a hyped life, that it amplifies your life to better and greater things. And so I'm here to take you on this journey with me, Gentle Tornado, to ride together, to stay together, and to bring more awareness to the words within Hyped. So my second guest is someone I met at VCon. I'm just absolutely blown away with the friendship that we've created. I feel like he's one of my closest friends. He's one of the nicest people, highest energy people. We vibe so well together because of our energy. Dan, the Lost Boy, how are you doing?
Amazing, man. Thanks for having me on, and everything you just said times two. Let's get the energy up. I'm glad to be here.
Let's go, baby. Let's start off with some good vibes. What are you grateful for today?
Man, just grateful for life. I was out getting a little nature, touching grass, hanging outside a little today, and beautiful weather. So summer's here. Just grateful for that fresh air and to be able to
Yes.
breathe, man, to be able to breathe. So grateful for
Let's
that.
Let's go. So the goal of this podcast is to talk about Web3, but also get personal. I think something in Web3 we don't do is get personal with real life stuff. And going to VCon, going to NFT NYC, really had conversations with people that were about real life, not just about NFTs. And that's the stuff I love. That's how I feel like you build relationships. So what I want you to do for me, Dan, is I want you to give me a 2 to 3 minute superhero-esque origin story of who Dan the Lost Boy is.
True, man. I'll do my best. Yeah. Superhero. I like it. So I come from humble beginnings. I'm from like a small country town here in Canada. Strathroy is the name of it, and just came up, usually just doing school, the normal stuff, but was a musician always on the side, songwriting, making rap music, and always had that passion. Then just got into usual blue collar work, factory work, a lot of like almost the 8 Mile story like Eminem, and was just trucking at it, pushing, trying to make ends meet, and always pursuing music and artistic things on the side. Eventually led me to meeting Matt McKeever and building a relationship with him, and we actually took on a music endeavor full time this year, and integrating Web3 within that. So I've been able to dive deep within my music, but again, come from really humble beginnings and blue collar work, but always had an entrepreneurial spirit and really just had that creativeness in me. So wanted to pursue that and found the means through a partnership with Matt, but also Web3, and just, that being the jumping off point for someone to get creative. Someone like myself that has been like that their whole life, and a great excuse to find community, like I've found with you and so many others in the space. So that's kind of the short come up story of myself. Just a musician, a creative, came up humble, and here we are now.
That's incredible, man. That makes me happy just hearing that. Have you been into music since you were really small, like since you were really a young kid?
Absolutely. Like both of my parents are massive music fans, but also musicians themselves in their own rights. My mother plays piano, guitar. She's also a vocalist. My old man, a vocalist, although not professionally by any means. And again, just very big music fan. So I've been exposed to a wide genre of music my entire life, and just been inspired by music my whole life.
That's awesome. If you had one favorite artist, what would it be? Just, I know that's hard, but I mean, if you have to give me a top three, that's fine. Sometimes people have one. I know it's probably hard because you got a lot of music you've listened to, but can you give me a top three?
Honestly, I've been starting to try and like speak powerful words, so I want to put myself at the top of that list. Like I'm my favorite artist right now, and
Let's
trying to become
go.
even more of that. Each and every day trying to become my own favorite artist. But I think artists change as they grow and develop. So there's a certain era of Eminem that really like built my come up story, and just again like a lot of synergy between the way he came up, I came up, and obviously the white boy rapper aspect as well. So if I'm kind of aligned to the early era of Eminem, I'll go with that.
I love that. So you love the movie 8 Mile, of course. Yeah,
I
just
absolutely dig
I
it,
mean,
man.
come on,
Again,
it's
the
just fire.
storyline, it's all there.
When everybody's bouncing in the club at the end, I'm just like, I feel like I'm about to go onto the field of the Super Bowl or something. I don't even know. Yes,
That
let's
underdog
go.
story, man. That underdog story.
No, I love to hear it, and I love to. I'm so glad that we connected because, like, instantly when I met you and we just had the crazy energy together, and I went and bought your NFT because I was just like, dude, I want this guy to win so bad. I was like, just the good vibes, the work that he's doing, and I support anybody that's going for it and go and follow their dreams and really embodying that, and so that's why I really want to support people like that, start their winning streak. A huge thing I've been on lately,
Yeah.
starting people's winning streak, man. It could be the simplest things, just giving and just keep giving because like if you start someone's winning streak, it can just freaking catapult into just crazy stuff.
Mm, mm,
So we're gonna go into each letter of hyped. So the first letter is happiness. Last time I shared a definition of happiness that I enjoyed, but this time I'm gonna give you my favorite definition of success. This means a crazy amount to me, and I want to read it to you. To
mm,
laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded.
mm.
Dude, first of all, have you heard that before?
Not no, and not so eloquently read either by
Thank
the
you,
by
thank
the
you,
one and only
thank you.
Tornado.
Appreciate it. What do you think? What do you feel immediately when you hear that?
Honestly, man, those are some powerful words, and as like a writer, the way they're all strategically placed is again just really powerful, concise, to the point. And the first thing that jumped out at me is like, the things about children, and you're a great dad and inspired by other great parents. There's just a lot of great nuggets there, and I think the main thing is not once was there a touch on financial.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think I appreciate the kind words. Being a dad for me is easily the most, but besides a husband, the easiest two most
Mm,
important
mm,
things in my life. And every day I'm just striving to get better on that because I think that they're the future, and so that's my job
facts.
is to make them get ready for the world and the best that they can be and really be good people, as it's hard to find good people these days. What is the happiest moment of your life?
Man, that's a good question,
Yeah.
and I think a tough question. Like it shouldn't be, but it is, and I think in a good way, it's tough. Because there's a lot of happy moments I can pull from, but I can definitely say like something recent and something pertinent to this conversation is that leaping off from cutting the ties of 9 to 5 job, the usual grind, and being able to jump into Web3 and music and being creative and my own boss, if you will, full time. I think that's the happiest I've been in a bit, and still am, just trying to see this all through and figure it out on my terms. So I think for a recent snapshot, that's going to be my answer, is that jumping off, cutting ties, and getting into Web3 full time.
That's incredible, and I think just telling by your energy, it's great so far because you did that, right? And you've at least went for it, and I already know it's going to work out for you because I believe in you to the max amount. And just the things you're doing, we joked maybe a month ago in a text that we wait till a year later. Like, yes, I'm just listen. I know we're going to make it. We're going
Mm,
to affect a bunch of people in the most positive way, and we're just waiting for time to catch up. So
facts.
yeah, so I love that answer. I love that you went for it. A lot of people, struggle with the courage to go for it, which is okay. But we're young people a lot of times. Even people that are 40, 50 are young, and we only have one life. And so that's what I love to tell people is like we have one life, we have one opportunity to get this. Again, how funny the Eminem, but like we literally only have one opportunity, so we might as well at least go for it and do our best because there's always another 9 to 5. There is always
Facts.
another job you can get. Working at a plant or working at manufacturing or whatever you got to do. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that you went for it. It's so inspirational. What about NFTs makes you happy?
Honestly, I think the main thing is it's fun, like collecting, trading, buying, minting. It's all fun, but the main thing that makes it fun is the community that surrounds all of that activity. The
Yeah.
main kind of core pillar is like the community aspect, being able to like find like-minded people, be in spaces, being just tweeting, shit posting, memeing, all of those types of things. I think is what I really enjoy about it, and the meaningful relationships that actually build out of some of those what seem like meaningless transactions online become some really fruitful relationships and opportunities as well. So I think the community, but also just the fun generally of collecting, trading, buying, minting, the whole nine.
Yeah, it's a good time and a wide variety of different emotions, different times, different uh, thrills of energy. What are your top three communities that you're in that you enjoy
Good
the most?
question. Good question. I really like Cryptoon Goons, one that I don't mention
Yeah,
often, but I hold one of their tokens, and just a really good come up story. A real nice true artist with Sean there. V Friends, big community. I've been grateful of Matt sharing some of his tokens, and I'm gonna be a V1 holder, as I know you're shooting for as well.
yeah,
Gonna get those perks. So V Friends definitely in that top three. And what's maybe a third? I'm gonna just shed light because of the recent activity, but something I hold because I'm a music artist and I respect people doing music NFTs, especially at a high caliber. Spotty Wi-Fi, I have his rap edition
let's
of
go.
I'm Spotty, so I'm gonna throw that in my again current top three right now, just to show some love to I'm Spotty.
Yeah, no, I love Spotty. Spotty's incredible, incredible energy set. He's honest. I love that shit. He comes in, he fires off. Uh, That's cool, man. Cryptoon Goons. I never heard you talk about. So that's really cool. The art is insane. I love
Sick,
that
man.
art. Yeah, that is super cool. Um, DGen Friends, dude. You had to put in DGen Friends. I know that's your stuff, but you listen. I'm a member of the DGen Friends community. We ride together. Also, Dan has done music for V Friends, and Gary actually knew him because of that song. Can you tell me about that experience for you?
Man, that was crazy. And again, that's where kind of Matt comes into play. I won't ever take ownership for the way that opportunity happened, but he had a couple VF1s minted early on, and one of those was FaceTime 5. And he was, gracious enough to let me on that call. We were building out the Space Monkey Fight Club Genesis token at the time, which is just custom made music for business brand or influencer. And he felt it'd be better for me to go on and kind of spit my game and just talk my talk with Gary and see if he remembered me from that song.
Yeah.
So jumped on that 5 minute call with Gary and kind of nudged him along the lines of like, "Do you remember me? I made the song." And his reaction was priceless, dude. Of just
Yeah.
kind of big smile, blown away, still remembered me. We had a great little chat. Just pitched him the idea real quick, not a heavy shill or anything. And all he said was just a conservative, like smart. So it was enough to
Yeah.
keep me motivated, keep me pushing, man. And just that call was surreal and led me into VCon, or us, I should say, Matt, Adam, the gang, the whole gang
Yeah.
that was there.
Yeah.
And it's been a movie ever since, but that was a really great, surreal, motivating experience.
That's cool, man. That is so cool. I'd never heard the whole story, so that means a lot to me. Huge. Being a huge Gary friend, we all Gary fan. We all are. He's incredible human, and the fact that he said that to you, just yeah, like I want you to push harder. I'm like right here with you. Like go harder. You know what I mean? The next word in the acronym of hyped is inspiration. You've already been inspiring me during this podcast, so I'm fired up to get into it. What in your life was a life lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
Mm. I think, sometimes just lessons just need reinforcement. So sometimes just that inner FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt that creeps up when you make a mistake more than once. That could be just like past relationships where you stumbled into something you knew wasn't really that great for you over and over again, or even jobs. I think that's one thing I look back on and think, how did I waste so much time in jobs that just weren't good for me? They weren't good for my mental health, physical health. And, obviously you got to make a living, but certain times just looking back at sometimes simple lessons, just listening to your gut, your intuition, and making the hard decision the first time instead of
Yeah.
stumbling, fumbling until you really fall down.
Yeah.
I think just that in itself, that whole lesson of many lessons, teaching a hard lesson of, yeah, sometimes it does take a couple times to just definitively make the call, but it's always better if you can do it in the first one, make the hard
Yeah.
call and cut something off, especially bad habits or bad scenarios.
No, I love that. That's incredible. Like having the courage the first time to say no or to not do something
Mm,
is very, very difficult, and it's something you have to practice. And it's something I've put extreme emphasis on in my life. And by running a business, you have to be super transparent and honest, in my opinion, and a lot of people are not. And so maybe 6, 7 years ago, when I found Gary, in a business, it's super easy to lie about little shit. And when you stop that and just are so honest, the amount of like times you get repaid is just crazy. And I remember one time I messed up ordering this thing for one of my customers, and kind of a hothead. And I went in there
mm,
and I was like, listen, dude, I fucked up and I didn't order them. And he was screaming in my face, so loud that one of the shop owners from the next door came over with his gun and was like, are you okay? Because he was so scared.
damn.
And you know what? I thought at one point he was going to hit me. And now that customer is one of my best customers, one of the greatest guys that I have the
Mm,
pleasure of dealing with. And it all stemmed from one thing, 6, 7 years ago, me lying about the littlest thing. And that second I came clean, it's 360'd and became such a good relationship. So since then, I've just been so transparent. And in my life, Gary V teaches us to just be yourself and live that. And so I'm overly transparent. And so I love that, dude. Being courageous on the first time
yeah.
it just starts a roller coaster downhill of just good things. But it is hard to learn. It's hard to learn. And sometimes you got to learn it 100 times.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
so,
actually just going to back that up with that exact sentiment of just
yeah.
like, it's easy to say, and in some
Yeah.
situations, easier to execute on that first time. But sometimes it does take that stumble, stumble, stumble. Oh, now I know.
Yeah, for sure. What inspired you about NFTs?
Honestly, I think it's the liberation and like the fact that it decentralization when, and I use air quotation because it's a buzzword now. I
Yeah.
think it's used a lot of the times in scenarios where it might not be deserving of the word, but in a perfect, I think, world, decentralization has a lot of um perks to me where it's the people having the power and there's no real one source of governance, and like that in itself is very empowering and like liberating for not only artists but collectors and just people wanting to transact and communicate with each other. So that in itself inspired me right away, the technology and what, you know, abilities it had to build off of, and opportunities for people all around the world, not just in North America, to use that for good, for all of the things that are listed in hyped, so
Yeah.
I really was inspired just by the technology, what I'd seen thus far with artists getting put on, and kind of just those first little sniffings, when you get into something, you're doing a little bit of research because somebody told you to check it out. And anything and everything I saw on my first glance, I was really inspired by. But I think generally just the tech.
That's awesome. No, yeah, and I want to piggyback off something you said, like with the artists. I think that's huge with
Mm,
music, man. Like giving the royalties to the artist, and then potentially, 100% of the proceeds, right, going to their NFT, and then them potentially giving a royalty to the people that hold their NFT. Like when I know that when my family asks me about NFTs, the easiest way for me to explain it is through music. It's like,
mm,
hey, well, normally an artist is through a music label, but if they create their own NFT, let's say 10,000, and they get 100% of that, and then they give a royalty percentage to the people that hold that, that is super powerful and puts more money in the artist's pocket, and just more control for them, which I love, because you hate to see these labels take over these artists and just for years. And it's crazy. I know that, I'm sure, being in the
for
music
sure.
industry. um let's move into, I got one more under inspiration.
Let's go.
What is your favorite inspirational movie?
Honestly, I you can see the hat I'm wearing. It's a
Yeah.
brand that I started a ways ago, kind of before my introduction to Web3, and it still exists, still something I'm pursuing a little bit more on the back end now. But that was always inspired, and even my name, Dan the Lost Boy, that all kind of comes from Peter Pan and the Lost Boys of Neverland. So I'm
Yes.
gonna say the Robin Williams version of Peter Pan, which is called Hook, is a movie I find really inspiring, which is maybe kind of left field for a lot of people and like what
Yeah.
unexpected, but just a lot of the notions in that movie still ring true of just like think good thoughts and you can fly. You know, we never get old. It's all like up here, imagination, perception. So there's a lot of things I think nestled in that movie that are fun and playful, and it's a really cool movie to watch, but at the same time are really inspiring.
That's wow. That is incredible, man. I'm shocked by that answer, and I love that you were so passionate about it. I think that was super cool to see. Um, what my first one that I said on the first was remember the Titans. That's huge for
Mm,
me.
mm.
But I'm gonna go with Friday Night Lights, man. For me, is like a team coming together, their star player gets hurt and they have to come together and they make it to the very end. They don't win, but you know what I mean? Like I love shit
Yeah.
like that. Peter Pan's huge. I might go watch Hook right now after this with my wife. That's huge and get inspired.
Big
Um,
play.
what a good fucking answer, dude. Um, Next word is positivity. I think positivity is massively underrated. I think it's how you respond to situations. It's not what happens to you. And when you have a positive mindset, it can just catapult your life into so many different places. And it's something that's not easy. Negativity, there's so much negativity in this world, unfortunately. And so if you combat that with positivity, a lot of times people don't understand it. They don't understand how you could be positive in a situation that maybe is terrible. And
Mm.
looking at positivity, I think is just so important. I know that you have a positive mindset. So what are some of the things that you've worked on to get to that place where you practice that every day?
I think just having like an energetic personality, which is something I have like inherently. It's just natural for me. But like just realizing that really subtle things or things that feel subtle, body language, facial expression actually carry a lot of weight, especially over time, just like the words that you say. So if you're always walking around with like a bitchy face or like looking like you don't want to be talked to, your tone's
Yeah.
probably going to match, your body language probably matches. And I think one thing that comes maybe naturally to me, but is like a tip potentially for other people is just, put some effort into the body language, the facial expression, get a little more bubbly, a little bit more light, upbeat. And I think that'll start to transfer into other aspects of your life where if you just respond to even crappier situations with a little bit more of a light energy, with a smile on your face, even though you're shoveling shit, as they would say on the farm. I think that's where you're gonna find a little bit of a tipping point. It might not be the silver bullet or the one answer, the one shot, but I think that's something I do again, maybe naturally, is just upbeat body language, try and smile as much as possible, and always laughing, always joking.
No, I love that. I love that, and I can say to every viewer out there, his energy is contagious. And I love this man.
Mm.
I think look up, stand up is huge. I live by and just walk with the purpose. When you stand up and walk with the purpose, and it's really meaningful, man. If you slouch over, that translates into your energy. And so just walking up straight, walking with the purpose to know where you're going or just what you want to do, and setting goals. What can you give me an example of some time in your life where you turned a negative situation into a positive?
Hmm. I think there's daily examples of that, like with everybody, where you just like kind of flip a negative to a positive. I think a lot of the times, with music and like songwriting, you can take things in your life that are just kind of crummier, whether it's like a breakup or somebody passing away, and turn it into something beautiful through like a song or even digital, physical, visual art, whatever you're into. But for me, it was always music, and I've had some, like a lot of people, close people in my life pass away, and I've kind of put that into music before. So I'd probably use that as an example, just that's coming to mind right now organically, is just like, taking IRL situations that are tough to deal with, sometimes pretty heavy stuff, and turn it into a song that people can vibe with on a good day, and really relate to on a bad day. So that's probably a front of mind example.
Yeah, for sure. That's great, man. I mean, every day, right? Every day there's stuff that's incredible. I gotta say that your music's incredible. I can't wait to keep listening to more of it.
Appreciate you.
Hopefully, I can have you send me a link, and I can put a link in the YouTube
For sure.
to maybe a song that you feel like you've turned a negative into a positive. That would be awesome for the viewers. If I get it, guys, I will put it on the video. I don't know how to do
Absolutely.
it, but we're writing, we're grinding, we're not gonna stop. I promise you.
Woo!
What do you think? This is obviously a pretty broad question. What are the positive benefits that you see of Web3?
So many. I mean, like you say, broad, but at the same time, like the whole space is pretty broad right now. Like
Yeah.
I think it's like a shotgun blast. There's just a lot of things coming out as a big buckshot, but we don't know what's really going to hit the target and what's going to stick near the bullseye. Uh, and what hits near the bullseye is going to be what lasts. But um, community is always the number one thing that I think it's become a bit of a buzzword as well, but for good reason, because when you go to one of these IRL events or get into some of these Twitter spaces, you really feel that sense of community. And especially when you link up IRL, you're like, man, I'm vibing with these people sometimes harder than locals, like people
Yeah.
I've known my whole life and things like that. So there's a real, level of community that's really positive out here. But again, like I was saying earlier, the tech and the decentralization and being able to like take power back as artists, take power back as collectors, and have some ownership into brands, businesses, artists, and people of interest. And you know, cut out these middlemen that don't necessarily need to be here and are taking a rip for themselves. So yeah, that's definitely some examples, that empowering technology, definitely art. There's great art out there now. And I think I've been exposed to more art than I have been in the last like decade of my life through
Yeah.
Web3, as well as the last thing I'd say. So there's kind of four total, is the exposure to like financial literacy. So like being able to like talk through these artistic financial instruments in some cases, and learning to read charts, get in these spaces and talk that talk. And yeah, there's a lot of positive stuff, but community, empowering technology, you know, I forget the other two already, but yeah,
No, that's
great,
huge.
great
No,
examples.
huge, dude. Those were so great, and I think I second the financial thing and getting
Mm,
in the thick of that. Like, because I was never into that. I never did stocks. I was very good financially, but I never did any of those things. So being involved in that is just like another thing you can just add to your portfolio. You can just add to your, tricks of the trade. Is the one thing that you're working towards as far as like the most positive impact you want to bring to the space is within music, is making songs for people? Is that what you feel like you want to do as far as that?
I
Like
think there's
positively?
I think there's a lot of things I can offer within this space, but out of the gate, that's what a niche I knew I had, was being able to write trendier things, not tacky, for personal or projects that were really on point and spoke to their community. So that's the edge I took out of the gate. But I'm really finding a lot of grooves in this space already through just relationships, through hosting stuff, doing podcasts and things, and just finding other hats to wear that I feel pretty comfortable in. So yeah, custom songs out of the gate, but I can see development as I grow and develop in the space.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I think that is a niche, and I think you're just going to keep killing it. You're so open to learning, and I think that is just so incredible. And having Matt in your corner
Mm,
has even brought that open mind of you're just going to keep killing it and keep learning from all the people around you, is something that I think I naturally I clinged to you or whatever. I don't know. I was like, this is my guy because he's open minded like me, and he wants to learn and he wants to grow, and he wants to help people grow within the space. And I think that's something that is incredible, man.
appreciate you, dude.
The next word is enthusiasm. Listen, me and you are no We're not fun. We love enthusiasm. So I don't know what the
Well,
best way to say that is, but we love life. We bring the noise. We bring the energy. Um, I go back to one life. We got one fucking life, man. And it's like if you wake up in the morning, you have the opportunity to go out there and get excited about that opportunity that you have. And we're lucky enough to live in the US and in Canada, and we have more opportunities than a lot of people in the world.
mm,
Just having clean water, a lot of the world doesn't have clean water. That's fucking devastating to hear to me. And so the fact that I have the opportunity to wake up every morning is just fucking pumps me up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
What are 3 things in your life that you can't get enough of?
That's a good one. I think definitely meditation lately. I've been trying to like meditate a lot more, and like I think if I went long enough without it, I'd feel like a real, heavy need, and like I can't go without this type vibe. So that's on the list. I'm going to take it right back to like rudimentary, like, fundamentals, just like you were saying, water, bro. Like
Yeah.
even when it comes down to like other beverage choices, water is like top cheddar. So
Yeah. Yeah.
meditation, water, and music. I genuinely don't think not even just making it, but like consuming it, being around it, even just a beating drum is enough for me. So that's kind of my three.
That's awesome, man. So tell me a little bit about your meditation, because I love to meditate as well. Are you every morning, every night? Are you once
Mm.
a week? What do you tell me your schedule?
I'm usually daily. Like if it's a perfect week, like literally every single day of the week in the morning, I prefer. Usually wake up, shake the dust off, because it is easy to like sometimes slump back out if you're too quick after the fact. But get some of that second thing, H2O, and
Yeah.
then straight into it. I do like, I got AirPods, so I can kind of get the noise cancellation and get some like white noise or a guided going in at least 10 minutes, but like perfect world 20 if you
Yeah.
got it to spare, and just try and like really, zone out. It's not always comfortable. It's not always like fun. It's actually like work. And I have because of my enthusiastic nature, my mind really likes to like run and do different things and wants to get up and go. So there's this analogy I've heard, and it's very, rings true for me, is your mind's like a dog. It just wants to keep up, and you're getting up, running away, go, 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 go. And sometimes you just have to tell the dog to sit, and like we'll get food later.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
go for a
Yeah.
walk later. All those things, the phone, everything that's pressing in life, and just put that on pause. Tell the pet, whatever it is, to sit and chill, and it really helps, I think, throughout the day, the week, the month, and you might not even notice it.
No, I love that, dude. That is incredible. Same, dude. Same. I've had that experience. I'm a morning person
Mm,
too,
mm,
and I think, yeah, like you said, like at least 10 minutes, man. And what it does for me is, I have a meditation that I listen to every day, and I love it, and it helps me focus on the things that I want and the experiences that I've had in my life, and how to get back to those, or how to
true.
amplify those things. And I think like just having that little focus is so powerful, man, and it can help you catapult through the week. And something else I've been working on is dreams, man. And
Mm,
we're obviously getting into dreams next, but man, reading those every day after the meditation, fuck, so powerful, dude.
powerful,
It's
man.
what Give me a few projects that you're really enthusiastic about in Web3, and why,
Mm, mm.
as far as
I
like the future.
I think V Friends is really powerful, and like we're a kind of proof of that. We're
Yeah.
walking living proof, because our relationship was kind of built off of that community's back, or that project's back, so to speak. So I think that one's really high on my list, because Gary's the guy leading the charge, and I think he's already done a pretty crazy job of like changing people's lives, having a really positive effect on people and their business and their personal lives and things. So like that ranks high. I think that's got to be one that's going to have an effect. I know, women led projects have a place on that list for sure. I'm not actually a holder currently, aside from the DGen Friends community wallet, but like World of Women, or Women in Weapons, I think deserves to be on there, just because they, cutting a lane that's sometimes not always easy. So I think that could definitely be mentioned, and fire art too. So like
Yeah.
that has to rank. Great community as well. And what's another one that's really, it's one we touched on DJ and Friends a little while ago that was kind of like a whatever happened to, but it was a project that I seen and got me into the space. Actually, it was kind of an onboarding project for me, is Blazed Cats. A lot of people probably won't know the name or remember it, but it was right around the launch of Stoner Cats, and they actually donated well over $250,000 to mental health awareness. So, and it was all on chain, which I thought was really cool. So donated in ETH, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was just really cool to see uh, a really powerful effect from a community into an IRL, translation, which was just really cool. So I think projects like that, and there's so many, man, like if I
Yeah.
got on a run, you could just keep
Yeah.
going, because there's a lot of positive, powerful projects being launched and that are already existing.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. What happened to Blaze Cats?
So I think we were talking about this. The team that launched it still exists. They're just really focused on technology, which I can't actually hate on.
Yeah.
It's nice to address this topic again, because sometimes it feels like you're throwing shade when you're moving over things pretty quickly. But they're definitely building, and I think they're actually building some technology that's going to be really impactful for the whole space. So they kind of just are, moved on, building other things, and slight focus on a little bit of all of the pans on the stovetop. And who knows, we could see a resurgence. But like I say, they're still out here building tech. So always a potential to have a pump down the line. Who knows?
No, I love it. I think if as long as they're constantly doing something, I think the NFT space is pretty right now, and I think that's
Yeah,
not healthy because it does take time to build things. And it takes time to get places. And
so true.
yeah, like I bring it back to this point of like I'd love when projects don't mint out. Like if my project that I launched doesn't mint out, like it just fucking makes me want to go so much harder
Mm,
and prove to the people like why they should buy this. And I think that a lot of times because of the people in the NFT space, that projects get freaked out and they cut supply. And it's like, yeah, maybe sometimes you shouldn't have had a 10,000 supply, but if you really believe in yourself and you really
yeah,
believe in your project, then you can make it happen. And I think, VFriends took like 2.5 weeks to mint out. You know what I mean? And that's Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. And it's like he didn't freak out. He was like, oh man, all these people that get the mint price at the lowest mint price are gonna win. Me, you know what I mean? I was fucking blessed. I got on the last day before they
mhm,
sold out, and I'm so fucking grateful. And it's like you find out the people that really believe in you and really do the research to find out what you're building and what you want to do. And yeah, I just think like patience, man. I think that patience is so underrated in this space, and I think that it's gonna keep patience. You're gonna have to double down on patience,
yeah,
especially in this bear market,
mm,
because we don't know how long it's gonna last. We are in a recession. Like if you don't think we're in a recession, you're crazy, as it's already
yeah,
started.
yeah.
And
There's some pullback for sure.
yeah, so like this pullback's healthy, and this is the time that the people that are going to build are really going to build, and patience is a virtue for a reason. It's very important in life for a reason. I tell people like, Pio from the Nifty portal,
Yep.
and one of my guys I hung out a lot with at NFT NYC. I'm so grateful to have that opportunity,
Mm,
and what he said to me at the Nifty party was, yeah, dude, I already told you I'd be a guest on your podcast, but I'll be guest number 14. And I was like, you know what, dude? You'll be guest 30, because if you don't believe I'll be at 14, just wait, man. Because I'm thinking like, I'm thinking gratitude day 300. I'm
let's go.
thinking, when we're 35 and we're retired, but we're still running our NFT project. That's where, my mind's at. And I've been lucky enough to practice that and learn that because it's so powerful. Um, Man, dreams. This just rolls right into dreams, bro.
Let's go.
Uh, the last word and arguably the most powerful word. I think dreams are so important. I think they're so much more important than goals. I think goals are important, but I think dreams are 10x that. I think
Mm,
there are things that are crazy that people read and they're like, no way you're going to do that. And, for me, I know we've talked a little bit about the winning streak and the Charlie Rocket and the quantum physics. And, you know, I've always dreamed crazy, and I hope that everybody dreams crazy, because really the things that I've been able to do in my life, in my line of work, are dreams, you know, and
Mm,
I
mm.
put in the right actions to do those. And so, like, what are your crazy dreams? Do you have any crazy dreams? Do you have, like, you give me any, give me 10, I don't care. I want to hear them because I'm a dreamer, dude.
I mean, there's so many, and like I'm similar to you. I think something you say all the time, man, that I share with you is this like delusional optimism, like where I almost don't sometimes listen to the fabric of reality. Like I'll kind of be bold enough to dream even beyond what most would say is like reality or
Yeah.
possible, and like I think there's so many of them, but like definitely giving back. So no matter where the success happens, it's just like always funneling it back, and like I think giving to receive. So like even when I did like a little clothing brand stuff, it was always like a priority to like put some funds towards, philanthropy and like giving back some charity, and just being able to like have a positive effect through things that are you're doing that might be positive for you, building success for you and some fortitude, whether it's financial or just, business, uh, you know, know-how and connections and all those things, but also just like, again, to be able to give back. So big dreams of being able to have a large effect. I think one of the biggest dreams I have is like if my project were to ever sell out is like getting a large like festival going and like being a driver of like a Web3 festival or something like that, which a lot of people would be like, bro, that's crazy, or there's already somebody doing it, or so. There's just always so many follow-ups from a lot of naysayers, but I think that's one of them. Definitely like we just saw NFT NYC go down. You were there for parts of it, and we saw Ape Fest. I would love, and like, whether it's a hard intention, but there's definitely a dream of it to hit a stage like that. That's all NFT centric and be able to like lead the headliner like a Spotty did, or
Yeah.
something like that. That's big dreams, bro. But yeah, probably similar to you. I have a large list of them. Some of them I've set really good anchors and intentions on to like actually complete them. But I think it's healthy to just keep dreaming, even if
Yeah.
you're like not waking up the next day being like, how can I accomplish this? It's just healthy to like think big, dream big.
Yeah, for sure. So is your biggest dream, you think, in the NFT space to like sell out your project and have a festival? Is that your, because my next question was what is your biggest dream in the Web3 space? And so would that be your biggest dream, you think? Or
I think that'd be a way to like accomplish all of my dreams, is like you were saying, like have a project that's established some success, and then you can divert those funds, that treasury, back into the community. So I think a festival would be one of the many things that I would be able to, do if that was the case, that there was a sellout. There would be all of this music, because we literally create custom music for each token holder that could
yeah.
be played,
Yeah,
showcased,
oh
all of these
fuck.
different
Yeah.
really fun, cool things. So I think just things like that. And the reason I lean towards like a music festival is because it's IRL, man. So yeah, we're
Yeah.
merging that digital with the physical, contact and communication, like we actually had the opportunity to experience and vibe on. So that's definitely, I think, a really a starting point to where the dreams would start to happen. That kickoff party almost with the music festival, to be like, bro, we're really having some fun now.
No, that's dude, it's gonna happen, and I cannot wait to be there with my wife. I'm pumped,
Let's
man.
go.
Um, when you're meditating, do you talk yourself through your dreams? Is that something you do?
For sure, and like have
Yeah.
like an intention each day sometimes, but generally just a pretty um sometimes a broad one of just like thanking for everything I have, everything I'm going to get, and then, latching it, anchoring it to some of these dreams and some of these things I really, really want to accomplish. Is it similar for you?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
It's always like, what do I want and how do I get there? And then just like being present in that moment of what I can do that day. You know what I mean? I think people get confused on dreams as like you have to do one thing that's going to get you. And most of the time, dreams are doing 100,000 little things that you work on every single
Yeah.
day to get you there. like practicing these words that I'm talking about, happiness, inspiration, positivity, enthusiasm, and dreams. You have to work on those every day. And the goal of the podcast is to bring emphasis to those and to amplify those so people really start being self-aware and then holding themselves accountable.
Mm.
Because if you hold yourself accountable every day to meditating, to just thinking positive things, it just gets better. And the more you work on it, it gets better. One thing I was going to ask you that I just thought of is are you a big manifester? Do you manifest? Do you like to manifest things?
I've been trying a lot harder to like implement that more and more. I think I've had like a level of that, like kind of naturally, subconsciously. Again, maybe through some of the things we were just discussing,
Yeah.
meditation, dreaming big. I can visualize pretty well. Some people don't really have that, ability, but I can kind of close my eyes and see things. And, manifestation coming off of like VCon, and actually an unexpected hitter for a keynote speaker was Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I was just like, I did not expect him to really like resonate, or me to resonate with him, I should say. And he was saying things like that I basically, he manifested where he's at right now by speaking things into the mirror and like
Yes.
all. And I was like, bro, that really hits with me and just reinforced that I need to be doing more of it and really taking it more serious. I think like the way I'm doing it, where
Yeah.
there's that added level of conviction to it, where I'm going to speak it into a mirror. I'm going to do it X amount of times a day. I'm going to do it even around people and they judge the living hell out of me.
Yes.
And I just don't care, because
Yes.
that's how committed to that manifestation I am. So I think I'm doing it a little bit, but need to be doing it a lot, and I'm working my
Yeah.
way up there.
No, dude, just keep going, man. Just keep
Yeah.
going. Some people I was talking to in NYC, I was just, a lot of times the question I was getting was, how are you so positive? And it's like, listen, I've worked on this. I've worked on this my whole life, since I was a kid. Grateful enough to have this energy that I've been gifted,
Mm,
but I've had to work on things. And I think that manifestation, I was telling everybody, is so powerful. I was just saying, like, the more that you speak it into existence and the more that you live that, and when you say those things like people are going to judge you, it's almost better because you believe it so much that you're putting it out there for it to happen. And so the more I tell people that you put it out there, yeah, you're going to seem crazy, right? I've been telling people in my life that I'm going to retire at 35 for like the past 10 years. And I don't care who you are. I'll tell you that I'm going to do it because I'm going to manifest that shit into
mm,
existence.
mm,
And I just think when you do those things, like it's kind of like we were talking about meditating, like in the dreams, is you're putting that more down and you're concreting that to in the back of your mind. The consciousness is that that's what your focus is.
mm,
Your focus is the things that you're manifesting. And then what's so cool about that in my mind is that other people, like when you tell other people about it, they might go tell someone else about it. Be like, oh, Tornado wants to retire at 35. Then that person's talking about it.
they're
Then that
speaking
person might,
about it too.
dude,
Yeah.
then the energy of the universe is talking about it, and you keep doing what you're supposed to do. And that's the energy that I like to tell people, like, is massive, is in the universe, is the universe has our back, right? Like I'm super religious, so I think that God has my back. But if you're not religious, that's okay. The universe always has your back, and
Mm,
it will
mm,
always come through for you. And the more good that you do, the more manifestation. It's crazy how it works. And I've been doing it. I can say that because I've been doing it for 10 years, and I've been even longer. I told my parents that I was going to be in the NFL. And then once I realized I wasn't going to be in the NFL, early high school days, I was like, I'm going to play college football. And the craziest statistic about high school football to college football is that there's something like this was obviously, I don't fucking 10 years ago,
mm,
but there was like, I think 20 million kids that play high school football, and there was only like 68,000 people that play college football. So
yeah.
if you did those percentages, it's insane. I don't know what it's at now, but for me, when I saw that, I was like, I'm going to make this happen because this is what I'm going to do. And I manifested that into existence. So I just tell people, like, keep going, keep practicing. You can make your wildest dreams come true. Put it out there into the universe, and the universe will have your back and they will help you. One thing I want to read you about dreams that I just hits me hard. Having dreams nourishes our souls. It gives us hope and it lets us pursue a purpose beyond ourselves.
Mm.
So that just doubles down on what we were just talking about.
Slaps.
Yeah, on manifesting. I mean, you believe in yourself, believe in what you want and just be you. I can't express that to enough people. Just be yourself, love yourself, be transparent with the world.
Facts,
And
bro.
you'll never know what you're gonna find. So that's everything. But I have some few closing thoughts. One of my
Let's
biggest
go.
closing thought is me and my wife. We're planning on moving to Utah. We were planning to move within a year. Now with the recession, I'm kind of pivoting that to maybe a couple years. So one of
Mm,
the things
mm,
that she had brought up to me was about embracing the now and living in the present. Um, a lot of times I look forward to my dreams and I look far into the future, but I doubling down lately on living
mm.
in the now and living in the present. And my thing with this podcast is I don't care how many people watch this because the good energy that I'm spreading through it is massive. What do you think about that, embracing the present, and how are you going to live in the now?
Dude, that's a really I think it's a perfect like final thought for a lot of the conversation we had today, because that's one thing I think is always a caveat when you're talking about dreaming and manifestation, and always, like you say, looking so forward down the road, is that it's good to be very present and in the now with those goals. So like taking the time to set all those intentions and be aware of where you want to be, but then more often than not being in the now and actually enjoying each and every breath and making the most of it while you get to where you think is best for you. And a lot of the times that changes on the way there. So I can definitely jive with that. I'm a fast-paced guy, both
Yeah.
my personality, but even physically in life, and sometimes just slowing down the mind, the body, and being here, right wherever you're
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
moment is really powerful, man. So I can definitely jive with that. And your wife's smart if she's pushing that. Very
That I
smart.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Closing thought is you get to leave. What is the closing thought that you want to leave with the audience? And then the second thing is a question that you want to ask the audience.
Mm. Closing thought is just, be like you were saying earlier, I'll almost double down. Just be your best self. Just keep turning the volume up on positivity. Don't let others BS and all their baggage pull you down, and just keep striving for, your best self each and every day, waking up trying to beat yourself. You're your own and only competition. So that's kind of my last thoughts. Final question for the audience. That's a tough one. What could you do today that could improve someone else's life tomorrow?
Let's go. Oh, that was disgustingly good. That was incredible.
That just came to me.
We're
Let's
gonna get
go.
we're gonna get some fire answers. We're gonna get some fire answers.
Yeah, let
Listen,
us know. Let us
yeah,
know.
drop some comments below, like, subscribe, share this with your friends, get some good energy rolling. Dan,
Heck yes.
dude,
If I
thank you.
could, if I could,
Yeah,
can I
yeah,
just
yeah.
give you some flowers real
Yeah.
quick, man? Because I just want to say this show's absolutely epic. I really appreciate being the second guest. These are conversations I think are really meaningful because they're around really positive topics, and a little sprinkling in of Web3 just based off of, I'm sure, some of the guests you'll have, which is the perfect medley. But dude, you're doing literally amazing work out here just by spreading your energy, your positivity, and now putting it on real blast through this show. So thanks for having me, man. And again, thanks for doing what you do each and every day, spreading your vibes, lifting people up, myself included, bro.
Thank you so dude, that means so much to me,
Love you,
man.
bro. Love
Yeah,
you for
truly
real.
love you. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody, this is the Hyped Happy Hour, episode 2. Hop on the train because we are riding it to the fucking moon.
Riding.